well, with all that, with all the little catch up, catching up out of the way, let's get into some the news stories from this past week and this week. I guess the first little bit of news item that I want to talk about is the it happened today actually, uh, but President Trump has threatened, or I don't know if it was a declaration, but you know, he's he made an announcement saying that he was going to shut down the border between the United States and Mexico, and it put everyone like in a tizzy. We got a bunch of Chicken Littles out there screaming, "Oh, the end is nigh, the sky is falling," and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I still understand. I understand like the economic side of this. Like the worry about this because there's a lot of things are exported from Mexico into the United States and vice versa. But just from what I've been reading, and if from various uh, publications, um, you know. Uh, I think is it Mexico that exports more, or does the U.S. export more? Oh well, okay, yeah. I mean, it hurts Mexico in that being next door neighbors and all. The U.S. imports more than it imports more from Mexico than Mexico. Um, I'm sorry. Yeah, I actually have some notes today. So, of course, this wasn't exactly the plan because I was expecting to have a co-host that I could occasionally throw to. But I'm sorry. A quick second. Okay. Yeah. Well, America imports more things from Mexico than it does sending products to Mexico, and so I think because I think the news dropped late last night, and I guess I just wasn't paying attention because I was pretty tired, and I think one of was mocking the fact that hipsters wouldn't have would be running out, would be the price of avocado toast would be skyrocketing because one of the biggest one of the biggest foodstuffs that's exported from Mexico is avocados, and so the price of avocados would go up, and hipsters would be feeling the pinch. Um, and my position on this is fairly, it's fairly simple. We need comprehensive immigration, immigration reform, but also we need to have a border. We need to have and the status quo, as it were. The status quo, right, is not it is will not suffice. Uh, you know, every day, we have people coming in illegally, and like, every it seems like every 3 months there's always this caravan of people coming, making their way to the border. And the president said that he's doing this so to put pressure on Mexico to help with to help curb these caravans, and also uh, to curb these caravans and to kind of make them make Mexico enforce their own borders on their southern border, because a lot of these caravans are coming from South American countries, El Salvador, Honduras, what have you. And so I think I it's I think it's time that the Democrats and the Republicans, they work out some sort of deal, because I think this idea of open borders is ridiculous, and I think blanket amnesty for the people that enter our country illegally is just not the way to go, in my opinion. Um, I mean, just as if someone broke into your house and started living in your house, sleeping in your bed, eating your food, wearing your clothes, you wouldn't abide it. You wouldn't abide it. So why are you allowing people to transgress our border and enter our country illegally, not declaring themselves, not having a way of keeping an eye on them. Uh, so the idea that these people, there's like the idea that no person is illegal, or these are people, these are human beings that deserve dignity and all that stuff. I'm fully bought into that. These are human beings. They, they want a better life, but it is our country, and I think we do have a right. I think we do have a right to say who we allow into our country. Just as on a micro level, we have the right to invite or disinvite or straight out bar people from entering our homes. Um, on the macro level, we should have that kind of control of who enters into our country. Simple as that. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna make too much stink over it, because I think it's a rather simple. It's a rather simple idea to grasp. It's not too complicated. I already used the house one, but it's, it's like having sex with a woman. A woman doesn't just allow any man to no have sex with her. She would assumably vet the man, make sure he was a good and decent person. Um, maybe not make sure he's not like the love him and leave him type. Making sure that there's like some sort of chemistry, and they have like a good vibe. Because otherwise, I'm pretty sure that a woman that has unconsensual sex would call it rape. And I'm not going as far as saying that the people who transgress our border and break our blatantly break our laws as rapists. But I would dare say that it is criminal. Because in the same breath, you can't say, oh, these are good people, but they broke the law. It's like I guess they can be good people, but they still broke the law, and they have they're it just and these people, they just gum up the works for the people that try to come here legally, that go and that go and fill out the forms, turn in the forms, you know, uh, pay the fees, wait in line. It just pushes back their opportunities to enter into the country, doing it the right way. And I mean, again, these people, the people are saying that these are these people that coming, you know, in are refugees. It's like, well, that's not accurate either, because again, there are legal definitions to these words that are using, particularly refugee. And again, I'd be hard pressed to call these people refugees. These are economic migrants looking for opportunities, and I don't begrudge them at all. I don't begrudge them at all for that, you know. But their lives aren't really in that much danger, except for when you do decide to make this trek up from Honduras, up from El Salvador, and you run the risk of actually being in danger from these some by predators, by these coyotes that do rape women, and and uh, and do steal children from villages on the way to use as shields to get into the country, to get into the United States, and just in human trafficking. So if we disincentivize people coming here, then we can save we can keep thousands of women from being raped, or murdered, and tens of thousands of children from being abducted and being sold into slavery. And I don't know about you, but I think that's a good thing. I'm reminded of the State of the Union, and when the president said, like, oh, we are what is it? Okay. We're like, we're reducing the number of people who might be become trafficked or sexually assaulted and stuff. And the entire Democratic Party sat on their hands for that. Who would not applaud these, especially the women, the ones wearing white, the ones supposedly wearing white to celebrate women's suffrage, the right to vote and all that. And it's like, and they sat on their hands when they said, oh, we've reduced sexual assaults and human trafficking. And it's just like, are you kidding? You're not gonna applaud for that? So I kind of went off on a tangent a little bit, but it looks like for the time being, your avocado toast might be a wee bit on the expensive side. And I for one, if it stops people from getting raped or being sold into slavery or potentially murdered because they're coming in illegally and inhabiting a space that they shouldn't be, a la Molly Tibbetts, or oh god, who's that? Oh man, who's that girl that got shot in San Francisco? Kate Steinle. Kate Steinle. That's right, Kate Steinle. You have Molly Tibbetts, you have Kate Steinle, you have all these people. There are a bunch of people who were killed by illegal aliens who should not have been there, and they would otherwise be alive if these people were apprehended and deported, or sent to prison. But now there's now there's these stupid sanctuary uh, laws. That California being a sanctuary state, that is absurd to me. Because if a mass if a serial killer got on the loose, we wouldn't say like, oh, he's a human being, no human being is illegal, and shelter this serial killer. Because oh yeah, and like Ron Singh, I believe the deputy from like Central or Northern California, he again killed by an illegal immigrant that was here, that shouldn't have been here, who had multiple charges, you know, um, for for violence and I think for in the case of Ronald Singh, gang activity, and yet ICE can't do their job because California is a sanctuary state, so they uh, the police or sheriffs or any law enforcement within California is not supposed or is not encouraged, or they don't have to let ICE know that they have detained illegal alien. So hate me if you want, but shutting down the border for a little bit and the cost of some produce going up is the price of maybe preventing Kate Steinle or Ronald Singh or Molly Tibbetts. Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for it. You can call me a monster or or hateful or whatever. I don't care. If it saves lives, even for a moment, I'm I'm for it.